problem. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, I already started recording this meeting. Thank you for coming. We're gonna be discussing some of the technical aspect of fault in attack or offensive fault. I prepared a little presentation, and after we're gonna have some videos with some examples. This is the agenda. And after, when I finish the video, I will put in the description as well which part of the agenda is in each minute of the video. Then if somebody want to skip the video, can go to that part. Importance. Why is important to have a good criteria? The fouls in attack are, or column as well, offensive fouls, impact directly in the quality of the game. It is very clear that a good criteria will affect the quality of the game, gonna give a better quality of the game, gonna give a fair play. People gonna start to play better, gonna encourage the teams as well to fight for the ball instead of trying to hit or trying to stimulate the fight with the opponent. And as well, will encourage the teams to get a better preparation. That means that the matches will look better. Managers, the referees gonna look that they have the control of the match. That at the end gonna be resulting in a better quality of the game and as well in a better image of handball. When we don't have a clear criteria, then the defender is gonna try to use the wrong techniques to defend, or the attacker is gonna try to use the wrong attacking techniques as well. It can be dangerous. The attackers and the defenders can become more aggressive as well. And one part that is very, very important for the quality of the game is taking care of the simulations or overreactions, or trying to influence the referee to get a fault in attack when the contact is minimum. That the impact that's gonna have is that the referee gonna have to work very, very hard, might lose control of the game. The quality of the game gonna be poor. Any questions about the importance of having a good criteria to determine when it's an attacking fault?
That's for me.
No, nothing to add. Good. Okay, what is the attacking foul? What is an offensive foul? According to the rule 8, the fault on an unsportsmanlike conduct, the players are permitted to use bent arms to monitor the opponent. Yeah, they cannot extend the arms, they cannot push, but they can control the opponent with bent arm or protect themselves. And they can use as well the trunk to block the opponent. What is not permitted is block the opponent with the arms, use the arms. You see it a lot of times in the pivot, or you see it a lot of times when the defender don't have a right technique or is late, they use the arms or the hands or the legs to block it. Holding an opponent, usually when it's the fighting against the pivot, we see clearly that. As well, running and jumping into an opponent. That is the clear use of the attacking fault, the clear call when an attacker is jump straight into a defender that got in the gap. That is the criteria that we use and the rules that we apply to identify an attacking fault. We have as well some decision-making guidelines, something that we should be looking for to identify the attacking fault. That is, first, the defender position. A correct position means that the defender is frontal when the contact is done. Then he has to be with his body facing the opponent. As well, need to be clear that the defender has to be the first one in reach the defending position. Even if he's jumping, it has to be first. Usually jumping is parallel. He cannot jump forward. We need to be aware as well of the defender movements. We know that the defenders can be moving sideways as long as they get first there. They can move even backwards, and if the attacker came straight into them, it's an attacking foul. Or they can jump upwards as long as they are not jumping forward. One important thing is being very, very sure that the defender don't move forward, even if it's in the last minute that they do the little move forward or chest forward to provoke the attacker's fall when the attacker is breaking and or stopping, and the defender go forward to provoke the movement. Is something that we need to be, as referees, very, very aware of. The other one is assess the defender's behavior. What is the defender doing? Is just trying to protect himself, or is trying to push the player, or is trying to hold the player, or is trying to put the leg for the player, the attacking player, to don't go there? Then those are the kind of things that we need to be aware of. Any question about the decision-making guidelines?
No.
Okay, we're gonna go to the referee's considerations. For the referee's considerations, we have to evaluate the situation. Something very important is identify who got first into the space. Sometimes it's really hard. It's something that is everything is happening so fast that is hard to see which one was the first. But usually something that can give us a good guideline is who is moving into who. Like you can see if the player is going sideways and the other one is the attacker is moving, if the defender is moving sideways and the attacker is moving forward, you can see clearly when it's coming from the side or when it's actually in front and the attacker is running into the defender. Then that is something that we need to try to be, all the referees need to try to be very, very aware of. As well, very aware of the attacker just using the elbows or using the arms. Usually in a high level, you don't see that much those, but in a lower level, you see people that goes, and when they see the defender, they just put the elbow or the arm to push them. This is something that we need to be very, very aware of. And as well, when the player is jumping, just very aware that he's not jumping forwards towards the player that is defender with the knee in front, because that can be dangerous as well, and it's a clear offensive fault. Another consideration that we can use, mostly for the line referee, is trying to see that the player that is in defense is not trying to take advantage of the goalkeeper area to get in the correct position and can get in front of the attacking player with that illegal movement just inside of the area. As well, we need to understand as well what is the ability of the player that is attacking to pass through the defense. For example, if two players are closing, we need to see if the attacking player passed through and is what we commonly call a sandwich, the two defenders closing when the attacker is passing through, or if actually the two defenders get first and the contact is against the chest or the body of the defender. And just the last consideration that is very, very important is something that I am really aware of, and Antoine can say when we were in Kuwait was the referees were really, really strict on that, and we as referees need to be very, very strict that the reaction must reflect the action. What that means that if the attacking player is coming and stop, and the defender just go one little step forward and just scream and fall, that is a clear simulation, and it should be punished accordingly with a 2 minutes or a progressive fault for the player doing the acting to try to influence or try to get a fault in attack that didn't exist. Usually the clear situations or clear things that we can detect to see that is people falling in the floor like if somebody shot them when the player that was coming was not coming full speed. That is one of the clear calls that the player is trying to overreact. The other one is the screaming, just trying to scream like if somebody really hit him hard when actually the contact was minimal. Some other considerations are the referee movements. Try to get a good refereeing position. Don't be just static in one position. Try to win the right angle to can identify this kind of attacking faults or even a defending fault. And as well, try to don't be running all the time. Try to find a good position and move slowly to another position. Usually when we are standing still as a referees, we make way better decisions than if we are running and trying to decide on the spot while we are running. These are the most common referees considerations. I don't know if somebody else have any other referee consideration that think that will be helpful to.
Yes, I would add for referees, do not accept for the field referees to be aligned defender, attacking, and referees. Always have an angle in order to advise to see what happens. Do not accept to be in the same line between defenders, attacker, and referees.
Yep.
Okay. Always find, as you said, always find the good position, but the good position is not to be aligned. And I will add to the cooperation between the two referees in order to see what is the movement of the defender. Both referees can act in the decision, in the correct decision.
Yeah. Usually,
the cooperation between the two referees is very important to evaluate the situation.
Yes, completely agree. Yeah, usually, like in most of the situations, if it's any consideration that need to be done, the referees can stop the game and just consult between them to get the right decision. But yeah, thank you very much for the comments. I already added to the notes, and I will put some notes later on as well. Any other comments about the considerations?
No, good.
No? Okay, we're gonna move on then. This is something to take in consideration, but it's very clear. It's the most common offense in our attacking fouls that we can see is when the defender is blocking the space, that the defender got to the space first, and the attacker run into him and try to go through when there is not a space. The double block from two defenders that close the gap, and the attacker don't have enough speed and just run into the defenders. That is what we were talking before, that we need to be sure that the attacker hit the defender is first in the attacker, then the attacker, and the attacker just hit the chest of the defender, not that he wrecked through, and we have the what we call the sandwich. No, that the attacker pass, and the two defenders close the attacker in the middle. The third one is that is very common as well, is the pivot grabbing the defenders, pivot blocking the defender with the arm, or delaying the defender with the arm or with the leg for the defender to don't get to a good defensive position. And as well, just sometimes you see that they are grabbing the jerseys or the arms, or the common arm between, just grabbing the arm between the armpit. Those are the most common types of offensive faults.
And very often, in the 3 bullet points you have on this slide, the first two bullet points are closely associated to a field referee. The last one is very often associated with a goal referee.
Yeah, it's a very, very good call. And yeah, usually the goal referee or line referee has a better view of what the pivot is doing, and if he is trying to illegally block the defender to get in a right position.
Because those faults were made by the attacking pivot are very often made before the ball arrives to the pivot, just before.
Yeah.
The small push, the small.
Yeah, or even sometimes the ball didn't even go to the pivot. The ball is moving and the pivot is just blocking. Then the defender cannot get to the player. But yeah, usually the line referee is the one that will observe those faults. You are right. So it's a very good consideration. One of the last points.
Can I add another fault very often made by the pivot?
Yeah.
I don't know to say it in English. Sorry. Maybe Antoine, you can translate.
Yeah.
Le pivot qui va prendre un avantage dans la zone pour contourner un défenseur.
Like if the attacking pivot is using the area, like the 6 meter area, to win position and win advantage on his defender.
Actually, that is a very common offensive foul as well. It's
yes.
Illegal action as well.
I think it's a very common fault seen on our match.
Yeah, but the only consideration that I will have with that one, I agree with you that is both for the defensive team. The only consideration is that will probably not be considered an offensive foul or an attacking fault. It will be considered more like an area invasion. Then the difference will be that the ball, instead to start from the position where was the fault, it will be a free throw from the goalkeeper. Yep.
Agree.
But yeah, it's correct. It's a very common situation as well. And as you mentioned before, all those situations with the pivot, usually the line referee is the one that need to be aware of the pivot running inside or the pivot grabbing the defender.
Wings.
Very good observation.
Our wings.
Yeah.
Our wings too.
Oh yeah, totally.
And regarding the pivot, what is your? I mean, there is quite often like the pivot and the defender are kind of fighting for using both of them using their arm, and like both of them doing like illegally like actions. And then how do you, because at our level it's also like how to teach like young players how to behave as a pivot, and so how do you manage this at when you
usually when I see pivot and defender fighting, it's a verbal warning for both of them, because usually both of them are grabbing each other. Then the referee, if you give them a verbal warning, they usually stop this kind of behavior, but it has to be early on the game. As soon as you see it, or the line referee sees that they are fighting or they are playing too much, you stop the game and give them a verbal warning. Just start to control the game from there, because if you let it go till you had to call something, it's hard to call. If both of them are doing a fault, you probably, if the pivot got the ball, for example, and both of them are grabbing each other, usually I will give it back to the attacking team, because I imagine that the defender will grab first the attacker, but it's a hard call. You should see who start to make the fault first.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree, because I think those situations should be framed, scoped as soon as possible at the beginning of a match.
Yeah. What is hard, I feel also, like for example in New Zealand, like there is different referees and different visions of, or like quality of refereeing, and in this same fault, like from for if we are specific to like a pivot position and like a wrong block made by a pivot, it might be whistled by certain referees and like missed completely by other referees. And then the pivot get used to do this bad behavior, or like bad habits, and then it's quite hard to to be like really consistent and across all the referees to really call this kind of wrong blocks, and yes, through the game be consistent, but also like between different games, that to have the same vision of across like all the referees to call the same faults.
Yeah, and I totally agree, and I think it's our job to try to get things like this presentation, or try to get as much as we can tools for those referees to improve. Unfortunately, you're gonna run into difference in referees styles, or different levels most often than not. But the idea is trying to uplift the quality of our referees and try to bring all to a certain standard. It is hard. I know. I don't have a magic rule to get everybody to the same standard in overnight. But I think we need to work in a plan to bring all the referees in Oceania to a certain level, and that they, what I say is that they speak the same Handball language.
In France, we were some years ago, we were used to explain those situations with cylinders, barrels. Each person is a barrel, so you have to consider the attacking person and the defender as a barrel. So anything that came outside the barrel, so an arm or leg coming outside the barrel, for example, could provoke a fault, for example. So a good defense will be the barrel is moving without anything outside this, outside it. I don't know if I'm clear in English. We were trying to explain young referees and young players how to manage their defense and how to deal with the relation between attacking and defenders.
Yeah.
For an example.
Yeah, and I think it's as well, it's a long journey to bring all the referees up to speed, and as well bringing the referees up to speed will bring as well the players awareness up, that they cannot get away with some things that they used to, and I think will be a process. It's not a magic pill, or it's not a 2 hours course that you can do. You are suddenly you improve your referee's skills. It's a process.
In my mind, I think the most difficult for refereeing for us is to be as much as possible coherence, to have coherence from the beginning to the end of the game.
Yeah, being coherent and consistent, as you say, is very important.
Yes,
yeah.
I think the thing we need to explain to our referees is that the most important for all the teams is to have the same decision, the same situation from the beginning to the end of the match. Even if we are not very right in our decisions, but it should be very coherent.
Yeah. We need to try to keep it as much as possible. All the game need to be managed in the same way. Try to be always that we can, following the best of our knowledge to get the rules. But as Anton say, it sometimes is really hard. Sometimes some referees take longer to learn the things. This is what we are trying to do here. Try to bring awareness and give them some material that they can probably learn and improve with experienced people like you, Antoine. You will. And then we're gonna pass to the last point in the agenda, that is the provocations and overreactions. This is was becoming a very big issue in Handball, and make it a little bit ugly, and didn't give a good image. Then it's something that the referees in the OCHF, they are very aware of, and they are trying to avoid, and to as well to don't lose the control of the game. We need to be aware that the defending players are not trying to get more than they have. They don't influence the decision of the referee with some acting or some screaming, and those situations where the player is trying to overreact or try to scream to get a foul from the referee should be punished accordingly. And should be done early, as we say before. It's very important that as soon as you detect that, as a referee, you call it and you let them know that that is not a behavior that will be tolerated in the Handball court. We can, as I put there, it could be a big topic. It's a lot of videos to show about that, and it's a lot of things to discuss, and we can probably make another session just on that topic of overreactions and provocations, and how some people call it the Hollywood reaction. And something very good to identify that, as we mentioned before, as one of the considerations, is identify that the reaction to the attacker's fault, it matches the action. If the attacker came and tried to stop, and suddenly I fall in the floor, like if somebody punched me in the face, that is an overreaction, and it should be punished. I think this point is quite clear, and we can discuss it for a little further if you want, but if not, we can leave it for another session and just move to the videos.
At this point, I think the position of a field referee is very important.
Completely agree.
As close the referee will be for the situation, the less those overreaction will happen.
Yeah, I completely agree. And as well, as you mentioned before, that is a very important point to identify those. The referee shouldn't be in a straight line with the attacker. It should be angled. Then he can see what is going on between the defender and the attacker. That is a very, very good call. It's very important for the referees to understand that they should try to avoid be blocked by the defender or the attacker on their view. Okay, then we're gonna pass to the next one, that is the videos. I put a list here of some videos that were selected from the former chair of the PRC, Ramon Gallego in Spanish. If you allow me, I'm gonna just try to show these videos. I have it already. I'm gonna stop presenting. And I have the list of videos and the links are in the pack. I will as well add some more videos to the notes. But if we go from these ones, I'm gonna actually mute. You can see there that you're gonna see now the repetition. So it's hard to see here, but what the referee says is that when the player, you see the referee? The referee there mark that the player, the defensive player, win the position going through the goalkeeper area. I'm gonna play it again to see if it's to. You can see that the first step in that angle, the defender just step inside in the area to move to a right position or correct position. In this one, you cannot see it in this repetition, but it's really hard to see, but I'm gonna try to put it slower to see if we can see when there he's running through the area. Just his right leg and entering the area. Over there, you cannot see it for this player, but over there you can see that the player is clearly inside to win the position to defend the player. It's a very hard call because it's very quick, but as you mentioned before, Will, it's the line referee is very, very aware of where the defender is going through, which is why he don't call the attacking foul. If we go, I don't know if you have any comments about this one, or should I move to the next one?
Next.
Any comments about this one? When we repeat, we can see that the defender, both defenders are in front of the player before he jumped. He jumped on top of the players. He didn't break through. And they are both outside of the area, then it's an attacking foul. Without looking what was happening here with the pivot, no? Just please stop me if you have any comments. If not, I'm gonna keep going through the videos. Here is we're gonna see it again. It's a clear overreaction from the defender. Probably if the defender stands still, he might get the attacking fall. But as it's a clear overreaction, the referee just give the goal. In my position, I will apply progressive punishment for the defender because he's clearly overreacting when the player just turn around. It looks like you can see it there, turn around, and he jumped backwards, simulating that the foul was harder than it was. If you don't have any comments, I'm gonna go to the next one. This one is a really, really tough one. Any comments on this one?
No, I agree.
It's this one is one of those hard ones that is full. It's so quick and it's really hard if you are not in the right position. Yeah, the defensive player was there first, and the attacker player just ran into him, and it's a clear fault in attack. But yeah, sometimes people get confused because the attacker was not going forward, was kind of going backwards. Sideways. The attacker come sideways, then some people get confused. But if the defensive player is there and the attacker try to win the gap and just hit the defender that is in a frontal position, it's a clear fault in attack. And this is the considerations that we were talking before. Consider where was the defender, where the attacking is going, and as well, because of the speed of the ball, is a clear fault in attack. We can play it again. Oh, this one is a very clear one. Very good spotting from the referees.
Pretty good.
It's a clear 2 minutes. Similar situation, the player just go forward and try to fall down to get a fault in attack. And the referees spotted well. and just apply the 2-minute suspension to the player that was faking the attacking fault. And this one is the the defensive player got first. You can see.
The same
The
situation.
defender player get first, and the attacker hit him, and that is in that moment is the attacking fault, and that is what generates that much space for the win. Then it's a good call for an attacking fault. And the following one is, I think we already saw it, the one from the pivot. And this one is the one as well, is trying to pass through the pivot. I thought it was the same one, but no, it's a different one. This one there. In this one, the defender don't fell off. It's staying still till the player pull him down. Then it's an attacking fault. I thought it was the same one that the other that we saw before, but no, it's a different one. Any question about this one?
No.
And is clear the difference between this pivot fault and the other one that the player was overreacting? And it's
for me.
Yeah, it's a clear difference between this one when the defender tried to stand still and the pivot just runs over him.
Very often for the overreacting, we have to have a look on the defender arms.
Yeah.
Opening his arms.
Yeah. The defender is getting first, and so fault in attack.
It's more clear at the real speed.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to see. That is why it's very important to identify that the whole body of this player that is outside of the area is in front of the attacking player, and she didn't went through. If not, will be the situation where it's a sandwich. But you can see that the body of the attacker never passed the line of the defender because the defender goes there first. It's really hard. It's I'm not saying that it's easy.
Yes,
mostly
because we can have a look on the second player
Yeah.
on the right. That is in the area and giving his side through the attacking.
Yeah, I will do that, but as well before that, you can see that the pivot was holding the. We can see, let's see in the repetition. You see how the
Step by step, step by step. Forward, step by step.
sorry,
Go forward, step by step.
there. You see how the pivot is holding the defender to don't get there?
Picture by picture, yeah.
I don't know if you can do it. Can we do it picture by
Once again.
picture? It's a
As
speed.
as you can see, the pivot in blue
Yeah,
has blocked the defender.
Yeah.
In order for them to be late. To
Yeah.
act to the rear.
Yeah.
So we can interpret that situation as a first fault.
Yep.
For the blue pivot.
Yeah. I think this should be the first call. You are right, Will. I think this should be the first call because the pivot is not just blocking, it's grabbing the player to delay.
Right.
Yeah, you are correct. I agree with you.
That is the first fault. But after, if we don't resolve that fault, we can see that
here you can see that is
the right white player is on the area.
Yeah.
Presenting his side, not facing the attacking, presenting his side. So it could be interpreted as the over decision, that the attacking fault. So I think for referees, we have to resolve the first fault.
Yeah.
And not the second. So it is the line referee to act without the ball.
Yeah. The high speed situation as well. So you can see here how the white player was moving towards the attacker and as well falling. So it's going forward and after falling backward, and the referee just warning him, just give him a verbal warning. Is jumping forward to block the player. It's not an offensive foul when the player is moving forward.
Agree.
This second one, yeah, it's true that it's not a space, but it's hard to see. But the first one, yeah, it's a foul when he fell off and blocked the second defender to
Agree.
To get there. Yeah, those are the 10 examples that Gallego presented in one of the presentations that they did. I put the links here for you if you want to share it with somebody. I'm gonna share it as well in the presentation. And as well, I based this presentation in the IHF's online symposium that is in the IHF Education Center YouTube site. I watched two of those that are the attacker's fault criteria by Per Monter-Sodal. That is the current IHF PRC chairman, is the head of rules, playing rules for IHF. As well in the attacker faults and provocations video that is there, I put as well there the link. That is the former IHF PRC head of playing rules. I will put all this. I as well gonna put the notes, and with the notes I'm gonna add as well another videos that I found in the IHF website about attacking faults for you if you wanna review those in your own time. I will put that as well in the notes.
Thanks.
Is there any other questions or considerations?
Not for me.